Well, and Gary, this is really the point that I want to get to. So here you have Bart Ehrman saying that Jesus is a false apocalyptic prophet, and no amount of obfuscation on the part of evangelical Christians can ever absolve Jesus of being a false apocalyptic prophet, because Jesus is talking about the end of the world. The language that he uses very clearly talks about the end of the world, in Bart Ehrman's opinion, and therefore, what Jesus prophesied would happen didn't happen. He's a false prophet. End of story. So we have a Messiah as Christians who is clearly, and you can't get him out of this, he's a false prophet. But this gets back not only to the language used in the Olivet Discourse, which I want to get to later, but it gets back to the very question that's being asked. So you have this scenario, and you painted it very beautifully. You have it coming out of previous chapters, the 23rd chapter where Jesus pronounces Ichabod upon the temple, and now the disciples are calling Jesus' attention to the temple. He says it's going to be destroyed, and then the dispensationalists think that when Jesus is talking about this event, he's talking about something that has to do with the second coming. Immediately now, when the word coming is used, they think this has to mean second coming, when in reality, that doesn't fit the context at all. Coming is very clearly delineated in Scripture as judgment language. So they're wanting to know, when is this coming in judgment going to take place? Am I right?
Oh, exactly. Again, this is why I say, in order to understand passages in the New Testament, go back to the Old Testament. Find those places in the Old Testament where similar language is used. An example is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. The oracle concerning Egypt. Behold, the Lord is riding on a swift cloud and is about to come to Egypt. The idols of Egypt will tremble at his presence, and the heart of the Egyptians will melt within them. So I will incite Egyptians against Egyptians, and they will each fight against his brother and each against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. That language is almost identical to the language that Jesus uses in the Olivet Discourse. And I've looked at a lot of Bible commentaries on Isaiah chapter 19, dispensational commentaries in particular, and they all maintain that Jesus is using prophetic language of judgment. And then what is used here in Isaiah chapter 19 is not something that's going to take place in the distant future of a literal Jehovah riding on a cloud to Egypt, but this is typical apocalyptic or prophetic language describing judgment. And Jesus uses that same type of language when you get to Matthew chapter 24. And anybody familiar with the Old Testament would have known. And that's why the disciples asked the question, because they said, "Are you telling me that the temple's going to be destroyed? It's going to be judged?" And Jesus says, absolutely.